Hey, what is up guys? Epic Pokemon TCG here, and today guys I've got a deck profile for you. And in this video guys we're going to be taking a look at a starting list for M Scizor. Now as always guys, the list will be down in the description below. And on top of that too, we have a little game for this video. There is a card that's not supposed to be in this deck, so if you spot it, make sure to comment down below. And without any further ado guys, let's get right into the video. Starting off with a 4-3 line of M Scizor. And this is not the card you're supposed to be looking for. Basically, this is just a deck that, in my opinion, is kind of under the radar, but at the same time, it's a deck that a lot of people know can be very good and very stressful to face. One of the things that I really like about this deck is that it's so disruptive, and it actually doesn't automatically lose to Giratina. It actually really has a lot of things it can do to stop Giratina, basically. And it's just all around a good card. Now, the regular EX is pretty underwhelming. Really, the only thing that you need to know is it has Gale Thrust for 50, and that if it comes off of your bench and becomes your active, you can do 110 damage. But overall, it's just really not like anything you really need to necessarily worry about. Of course, it does have Swift, what is it, Steel Wing, and it does like tanks 20 or something like that. But the Mega is actually the card we're really going to be looking at here. So it has Iron Crusher for 120. You may discard a special energy attached to your opponent's active Pokemon or a stadium card in play. So when you think about it, if you attack a Giratina and it has a double dragon energy, then basically you can just get rid of it. And that's going to set them back a little bit, forcing them to have a double dragon. And eventually, if you can keep on the attacks and keep it going, they're going to eventually run out of double dragon energies. And that's just really good. Plus, on top of that, you have cards like Crushing Hammer, and you have cards like Team Flare Grunt in this deck to kind of help out with that too. And with this deck, we'll be featuring Garbodor, so you'll be able to get past that Renegade Pulse ability. Yep. So basically, this card can two-shot majority of things in the format just because 120 and you're going to be hitting for 240, which knocks out a bunch of stuff. And with special energy being so popular in the format, just being able to discard that is just really, really big with this deck. And this just has a lot of really good matchups, honestly. Yes, it is going to be absolutely thrashed by Volcanion. There's really nothing else you can do about that. I mean, it's just going to be one of those auto losses. Majority of decks have auto losses sometimes, and this unfortunately is one of them, and it happens to be against one of the biggest decks going into this format. And so, as of right now, there's nothing really to combat Volcanion that's going to be consistent in this deck. Maybe there will be down the line that this deck can add into it, but for right now, not really. Next up, we're going to have a pretty good backup attacker. This is a really good card. It's just a one-prize attacker that can do a ton of damage late game with his Revenge Blast. Basically does 30 and then 30 more for each prize card your opponent's taken. So late in the game, if you're paying, geez, I can't talk. If your opponent is taking 4 or 5 prize cards, basically you're just gonna be doing a ton of damage, and that's just really good. But next up, guys, we have a 2/2 Garbodor. Honestly, the pairing of Scizor and Garbodor is just absolutely nuts. This is just going to basically screw with your opponent a bunch throughout the game. You're discarding energy, and also you're making it to where they can't play their abilities or anything. And so this is hurting a lot of different decks. Like against Rayquaza, you're discarding their DCEs, and they can't set back up. And with Garbodor, you're getting rid of Renegade Pulse, and you're using Iron Crusher to get rid of double dragon energies, which is really good. And in general, you're just kind of stopping them from being able to set up. And I don't know, it's just a good combination, honestly. Mostly it's going to be good against Giratina because that's really the deck that you have to worry about with this deck. But like I said, this is pretty much just geared towards kind of dealing with Giratina, and it's just good against a lot of different things, except for Volcanion. But next up, guys, we have Hoopa, and we have 2 Shaymins. Scoundrelling is a fantastic ability. Basically, anytime I play Mega decks, this is what I throw in here immediately. And really, EX decks in general. Hoopa's just a fantastic card. Shaymin is in here for setup, obviously. He's just going to help you set up throughout the game. Also forgot to mention, Iron Crusher takes out Shaymins. That's pretty good, too. A card that I want to possibly suggest that you would take a look at for this. I don't have it in this list just because really I just decided against it, and that is Magearna EX with the Mystic Heart ability. It's a decent card. I figured I would just throw it out there. Hey, this is a thing. You should look into it, and if it will benefit you in your area, you should check it out. But for the supporter guys, I feel like my thing is too close. Back up. There we go. Alright, so for the supporters, my table was hitting my tripod. But we have 4 Sycamore, pretty standard. You know, most decks play 3 to 4. Next up we have 3 N. Now N could be very good because it's going to help you disrupt too, you know, at a certain point of the game. You can end your opponent to a low hand size, start discarding energy, and that's just very, very good. 2 Lysandre. Lysandre is really good because you can start bringing up stuff that has special energy on the bench that might, you know, hurt you throughout the game and would screw with you and quite possibly cause you to lose. And also on top of that, like I said, you can bring up Shaymins, or you can just bring up something maybe that you already attacked and just knock it out. Skyla. Basically, another thing I do with Mega decks, I just really like having Skyla in my decks just because I can Skyla for an Ultra Ball, which will grab my Hoopa, or I can Skyla for a Spirit Link or something like that. So Skyla is just a fantastic card, really helpful, and you can grab a supporter for your next turn. Team Flare Grunt is a very good card too because it also pairs up very nicely with Iron Crusher. You can potentially discard 2 energy and just kind of screw over stuff that's very dependent on special energy, or you can just kind of set your opponent back for a turn. Maybe you can discard something off their active. And I don't know. You just never know. Or maybe you can't pull off an Iron Crusher and you just feel like getting rid of an energy. Another card I would suggest if you just want to put them in here is Hex Maniac. If you want to have just a guarantee get rid of, you know, act like an ability that turn, or you can play Pokemon Ranger to get rid of Chaos Will's effect. These are 2 cards I would suggest probably. This one a little more than this one. Obviously, I'm going with this just because of the fact that you never know if you're going to absolutely be able to pull off the disruption enough to where they can't get a Chaos Will off. So I would recommend looking into Pokemon Ranger. Yes, this might be a dead card if you're able to disrupt your opponent enough, but you just never know. So I figured I would just go ahead and throw it out there. I would suggest Pokemon Ranger more than I would Hex Maniac, but I figured those were too good not to mention. And to go along with the supporter guys, 4 Viesiker. Next up we have 4 Ultra Ball. Really, this is just in here to grab your Hoopa, grab your Pokemon, etc. 4 Crushing Hammer. This is just for the disruption, getting rid of energy. You got special energy covered, so might as well get rid of some basic energy too. It's pretty good. And you can discard special energy with this too. But yeah, you guys get what I'm saying. So next up we have 3 Scizor Spirit Link. Just that way you don't have to skip your turn whenever you Mega Evolve. We have 3 Trainer's Mail. You just never know, we might be able to fish out something out of your deck that you might need, like a Spirit Link or a supporter or just a Crushing Hammer or something like that. 2 Floodstone. This is really in here for Garbodor. That way you can start activating Garbotoxin and get that into effect right away. 2 Mega Turbo. The reason why I went with 2 Mega Turbo is just because I just want to kind of surprise my opponent with it. And Ultra Ball is going to help you get those metal energy to the discard pile, so that way you can use Mega Turbo. I just like it. I mean, if you have a Scizor and you attach return, you have a Mega Turbo, you can just get an energy on it, or you can start setting up a Scizor for next turn or something like that. It's just kind of situational, but still it's pretty good. 1 switch, you know, honestly, stuff in here has pretty decent retreat cost, and I just figured a switching card would be good. I always like having a switching card in my deck. 2 Parallel City. This can be good because you can also, you know, just kind of screw with your opponent's bench, and on top of that, this can be helpful to get rid of these, because these might become a liability in the game. Just easy Lysandre bait and Lysandre bait to stall, so that's why I put that in here. I like Parallel Sitting myself just because I just get rid of those things majority of the times during games, and it just kind of sets your opponent back, so that way they don't have something there that they can just bring up and get 2 cheap prizes on. And plus Parallel City is just really good for multiple reasons. And finally, guys, we have, let's see here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We have 9 Metal Energy, obviously, to set up Scizor and Cobalion. So that's going to do it, guys. I apologize if I was kind of during this video. I'm very tired. I haven't been sleeping that well lately, but thank you all so much for watching. Take care. I love you. We're on our road to 500 subscribers. And if you haven't subscribed, make sure to do that. I would greatly appreciate it. And now I'm going to go to eat Indian tacos because I'm starving. But take care, guys. I love you. This is Epic Pokemon TCG, signing out.